The Great Work is a custom story developed by modders Damascus and Chrysosphinx, and it was released in early 2013. The story received acclaim from members of the ModDB forum, as well as various popular YouTubers at the time. One thing stood out about this story that split it from the rest, and that was its length. The Great Work consists of about 5 to 6 hours of playtime for a slow, immersive run, and is still one of the longest custom stories you can play. For me, what stood out about The Great Work wasn't its sheer volume, but rather its storytelling. From the instant I first completed the story, I knew it would stand as not only one of my favorite mods, but also one of my favorite games. The lore of The Great Work is immersed in a 15th century tale of alchemists and philosophers and their search for the truth to life. When all goes wrong after the discovery of a philosopher's stone, a split within a secret society puts the fate of the future at risk. You are Charles Longden, an archaeologist studying the German Castle Minaberg. You oversleep one morning and are awoken by tremors throughout the structure. There is no sign of your partner Jane. Where has she gone? Follow me on this journey through history to uncover the hidden meaning of the Great Work and dig into the origins of modern thought. As it is presented to us, the Castle Minaberg was home to the family of the Albrechts around the early 1800s. The building held centuries worth of ancestral artifacts and was an exciting prospect of excavation. The structure had weakened over its years of service and had to be evacuated. Our two archaeologists, the experienced Jane Whitler and her subordinate Charles Longden, finally had the chance to march onto the premises and conduct first-hand research. One lazy morning, Charles is awoken by his partner.
Oh, Charles, sorry to wake you. I'm anxious to start digging, but the sun isn't up yet. May I borrow your lantern? You can sleep in. We can discuss our findings at luncheon.
Those were Jane's last words. Charles soon found her dead under rubble following a cave-in under the castle. He wasn't aware of her motives in this newly uncovered underground system, but there was surely something she knew that he didn't. As he pressed on further into the tunnels, he realized there was more than what he envisioned. Behold laboratories, machinery, and a curious group of roses growing on the floor. The large door at the end of the hallway didn't look to keep people out, but rather to keep something in. After encountering a fair bit of leftover paperwork, Charles slowly became aware of the process of this secret lair. It was built by a mysterious man named Johann Moriane and seemed to act as a hidden outpost as he was hiding from something. Little did Charles know that pressing on would spell the possible end to his life. With his lantern suddenly shut and the world around him closing in, he knew something wasn't right. Deep growls from otherworldly creatures and hallucinations begged him to stay away, but a knock on a boarded door invites him to witness a unique item atop a pedestal. The shard of a broken glass orb. As Charles reached out and touched it, he fell to the ground in agony. The shard was beginning to fuse itself with his body and he could do nothing to stop it. A familiar, bellowing cry in the distance felt like it was calling him. He needed to find a way out. On his ascent, a magnificent force of light stomped directly in his way and chased him to the stairs leading up. Now, not only did Charles discover what had taken Moriane, but also he awakened an evil cabal left dormant for centuries. By the growing roses, a voice from above offered its hand in help.
Excuse me, can you hear me down there? Grab onto this rope and pull yourself up.
Samuel Hartlib is the first character introduced with a historical origin, and also receives the most amount of mention and screen time. Hartlib was well known across Europe for his contributions to various fields of study. He was a polymathic philosopher, a respectable scholar. He absorbed himself in the idea of creating a system of widespread education and made it his life's goal. As a result, many of Samuel's successors consider his work to be the foundation for the Age of Enlightenment. He was also known for the creation of the legendary Hartlib Circle, which was a conglomerate of intelligencers from all across Europe with similar goals. A few key members in this society were Johann Moriane, Theodor Haack, and John Dury, all of whom are characters in the Great Work. Some satellite members included the familiar Johann Weyer and Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. Although the Circle's themes occupied many fields such as agriculture, finance, and medicine, the great work focuses on its role in alchemy. Hartlib's alchemist contemporaries were in search of an elusive artifact called the Philosopher's Stone. This artifact was the ultimate tool for an alchemist, as it could turn base metals like mercury into precious metals like gold. It was also the so-called elixir of life, which was useful in rejuvenating the human form and, more importantly, gifting immortality to its wielder. Hartlib in the Great Work is much the same as in history, but he has a predicament. In the story's lore, he had discovered the stone with his colleague Moriane deep in an ancient mine. While Hartlib was careful and respectful with the orb, Moriane was eager to take control of its power. When Moriane touched the orb, it shocked him and threw him away. He vented his frustration as Hartlib was able to handle the orb without any effect. It seems through this that the Great Work's shadow is not a malicious being, and is instead making sure the orb is wielded by a worthy user. There is a comparison put forth between the orb and a higher power. That was why it had reacted so violently to Moriane's touch, but not his. Hartlib wondered if they had, for however a short moment, caught God's attention.